So we begin with continuous signal. When we talk about continuous signal, the both variables in a continuous signal can take any value. So the independent variable, which is normally time, is a real variable, and dependent variable, let us say temperature or let us say voltage, is also a real variable. It can take any continuous value, and if we plot it on x-axis as time and y-axis as temperature, then it can be some graph like this. It is a continuous curve. So time on x-axis, temperature at a given point on y-axis, and the temperature may change like this. The curve is continuous in nature. The relationship of one variable mapped with other variable is continuous in nature. All possible values are permissible in this case. It is continuous variable. Now I immediately tell you the discrete signal, and then will tell you digital signal, and then we'll go for multidimensional signals. I am trying my level best to make it simple. Now listen very carefully. Between discrete and digital, there is a huge difference which normally many don't understand and mix it with each other. Now, temperature, let us work off temperature signal. So you have got a thermometer. Now, with the advancements in technology, you might have been bombarded with digital literacy, digital world, digital payment, everything digital, as if the analog or continuous has no scope in the world. So when I talk about thermometer, what comes in front of you is a digital thermometer. The thermometer with the mercury showing its position for different temperatures is as good as forgotten. So let us not forget that. Now listen very carefully. Let us say that you are recording temperature. Remember that temperature signal exists. At given point, always there will be some temperature. Time is continuous. At every time there will be some temperature. So both things are continuous. Now when we think of recording a temperature, how will you record? My fundamental question. Then you will say that I will take a pen and paper and record the value of the temperature. Wrong. This is not recording. Because here you are recording it in numbers, and you directly switch to what is digital. We will introduce later on. Then how we store the temperature at various time instants. Suppose that you are in some environmental office where the temperature as day grows, how temperature varies is to be noted down. So how will you note down? At 8 a.m. the things start, and every half an hour we are supposed to record temperature. Every half an hour you are supposed to record temperature. There is a thermometer. Let us be in old world where a thermometer is something like this. It is something, and the mercury is there in the I am specifically giving the examples because the concepts must be clear. Nowadays there is no point in just explaining the data which is there with you with all kind of digital contains. So this is the blue is mercury, you can presume now, and depending upon the temperature the mercury will expand or contract. So the point till which the mercury is there is temperature. Now how will you record the temperature? I say you will not record it using pen and paper. You will not record it using pen and paper and write the numbers. Then what will you do, to be very precise, is you can have a photograph. You can have a photograph. When we say I will have photograph, immediately in front of you a mobile comes. With mobile you can take photograph. Again it is digital. You have to go back to conventional camera. But that is not so required. Simply you can have a blank paper. You can have a blank paper. On that blank paper you can have a pen. You can have a line. So you will have a blank. Remember, a blank paper you will have like this. On this blank paper I am explaining it in maximum possible simple manner. On this blank paper you will have simply vertical markings, say 1 centimeter, just example, 1 centimeter away from each other. And you may have, not necessarily, but to give you an indication, you also may have horizontal markings. But horizontal markings right now are not required for us. You may or may not. Listen very carefully. I am explaining in very simple manner so as to give you difference of what is a discrete variable. Now what will you do? This horizontal axis is time axis. So this is 8 a.m. One line A, after next line 8:30, 9 a.m., 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, just I am writing 11:30 and 12 noon. So this is a 4-hour reading sheet. This is a 4-hour reading sheet. Then how you are going to record it? This 4-hour reading sheet, you have got a thermometer. You have properly done alignment. You can see just somehow this aligns with this. And then what will you do? You are having a thermometer here. You are having a thermometer here. Then you may have a perfectly horizontal needle. You have a perfectly horizontal needle you can have, or you can move the thermometer either way, or you can move the sheet. That is not important. What I say is at 8 a.m. what you do? At 8 a.m. what is the level of this mercury? You put a point here. This is recording. This is recording. You point with infinite resolution. So this may be, if it is atmospheric temperature, this may be 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. If this is atmospheric temperature, then you know that it is something between 34 to 35, but exact point you note using a point. Again, when I say a point need not be seen. You assume that whatever you actually put a dot, the point is its center. It need not be seen, because if it is seen, it is having non-zero dimensions. So the moment at which we view a point, we lose a point because it's not a point anyway. Then at 8:30 you again take reading, maybe it is here, so you have this point. At 9 maybe it is here. Just I am not to the scale, actual reality. These are the temperatures like this. So these are the points. So these are discrete variables. The points are discrete variables. What I repeat? I repeat that now you are no longer interested in values of temperature at every point of time. You are interested in values of temperature only at specific sampling intervals. So earlier what you were having, the temperature, here temperature is also T, but capital T at given. So capital T comma small t was a continuous signal, whereas now what happens is we sample it. So instead of this, which is a variable with respect to which the dependent variable is mapped, was continuous, but now it is discrete, and I write it as Tn, and here being discrete I change a square bracket. So n at n equal to, let us say 0, I start at 8 am, n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, n equal to 5. So this is sampling in, this is not sampling, this is the time at which the temperature is defined, whereas this is the sample number at which I take the temperature. So this is a function and this is a sequence. Remember, this is a continuous function and this is a discrete sequence. I again repeat, these are integers. The values of temperature are not integers. Values of temperature are continuous. The instance at which I take temperature are now discrete. So the time variable, horizontal variable, independent variable is now defined in discrete manner. This instant, this instant, this instant, this instant, this instant, with in between things are undefined. I am not touching them, I am not using them. Whereas the temperature, that is the dependent variable, can take all values. This is discrete signal. What is continuous signal? Continuous signal is what if I join them. This is continuous signal. This is continuous signal. Only points is discrete signal. And now instead of this, you can have a good scale, 34, then 34 to 35 you can have 10 divisions. So 1 digit resolution, and you note down, you approximate. So if you note down using digits, it is digital signal. Means where you are allowing the temperature axis, dependent variable axis also to be discretized. So both axes continuous signal. Horizontal or independent, in most of the cases time axis discrete, and vertical axis, dependent variable axis is continuous, is discrete signal, and both axes discrete is digital signal. Means in continuous signal We are interested, listen now very carefully, in continuous signal. If we are restricting to time signal, we need not, but it is more simpler to understand. If we are interested in values or mapping of the temperature at all times, then we get a graph which is continuous in nature. If we are interested to know the temperature at only regular intervals to its exact value, then we get a bar chart. We get a bar chart in which the bar shows, length of the tip of the bar shows the temperature at the sample instant. In between we don't have. So this point, this point, this point, this is a discrete signal. And if temperature is also expressed using finite number of digits, digit is actually a bit. If we decide to express the temperature also using finite number of bits, finite number of digits, it is a digital signal. So continuous signal, discrete signal and digital signal. So when digital world was not there, every processing in the world was continuous signal processing. You are having RC filters, you are having some kind of other mechanical arrangements in which filtering takes place or some kind of signal processing takes place. Nowadays everything is digital. Nowadays the things have changed. There is no need for you to design anything in actual domain. What you do, you have sensing, you convert it using analog to digital, you take digital stream, process it using computer and again reconvert back into analog. So everything is now digital, so digital processing. And discrete time signal processing is an abstraction. Abstraction means something which does not exist in practice. So finite samples or samples taken at regular intervals and having infinite resolution, that could have been possible using analog computers if digital technology might not have got developed. Then we don't know, some kind of analog computer processing would have emerged, but now let us leave it as it is because it's not a reality. I again repeat, continuous time signal, continuous signal processing is there in practice till today. It was only thing possible few decades back, whereas nowadays digital signal processing is there, which was not there earlier, and discrete signal is just abstraction for our understanding purpose. Means a sequence of samples which are real numbers. This sequence we use for calculation purpose, but no device can realize what you want to say. So whatever gets realized is either continuous or digital, and discrete is an abstraction for human beings understanding. It's an abstraction to be used in the classroom, study room for concluding something. Only human can understand, human mind can understand discrete things. There is no device which would be processing these discrete things. Discrete things can be processed by any device. Actual physical devices like resistor, capacitor process continuous things, computers process digital things. Discrete things can, so which is the device which can process discrete thing is only human intellectual mind. Human intellect can process discrete things. Actual physical devices process continuous things, computers process digital things, but discrete thing is human intellect's exclusive, what we can say, domain, and I hope that let us enrich that effectively. The next is, we will go for what is called as multi-dimensional signals, and especially in this subject signals and systems, this is required. This is very much required. I will try my level best to explain it in such a manner that the students understand it. So let us restrict ourselves to time signals for substantial point of time, because that is very much convenient to understand. So the parameters, say voltage at a point, temperature of a point, pressure experienced by some point, or if suppose if you are heating up something, when we say mercury, height of mercury column, or if you are heating some element, its length may expand. So length of some point. Another thing, suppose if you are doing some biological experiment, you have planted a tree, the tree is going to rise, its height will increase, not as fast as an experiment here, but at least in 1 month time it will increase. So height of some kind of arrangement, lively organ, suppose if you are having some kind of mushroom, so that mushroom growth is a word, that mushroom will, the size or volume of the mushroom growing. So all these are signals, these are one-dimensional signals, these are expressed by a single value, temperature, pressure, voltage, like that. Whereas I again give the same example, since it is online, pre-recorded and not actual classroom teaching, we are deprived of this, but if you are having some kind of Zoom or other session, then students can still play mischief. Say nowadays, because of advanced techniques, the mischiefs have also changed their nature, but maybe 10 years back, disturbing the class using the laser gun, laser tip, you were getting a very cheap laser whenever LEDs were there, very focused LEDs were used to have a laser gun, and there was a fashion to have it in a keychain. A keychain with laser pointer was something. Suppose if you are in the class and a teacher is talking something most obviously nonsense things for many, just like this session is going on, then one mischievous student thinks that, oh, now let us make some fun. So, and now on the blackboard, the visibility of laser tip was not so good, but the advancements were there in the classrooms also. So at many places they have whiteboards, and on whiteboards you have a good laser visibility. So what the student does is, student just puts the laser beam on, and then the laser, right now I don't have red pen, so let us have blue laser. You can also have laser, need not be red always. So blue laser. So he just flashes its laser gun and puts a blue spot here. Then when it occurs for the first time, teacher gets confused, what's happening? Then what the student does? He moves that. So what will be there? A blue spot moving, and the student is mischievous. He will move it in such a manner that the teacher should get confused, irritated to the maximum extent. Now the question is, what is signal here? Now let us forget all this mischief and let us focus on what is the phenomenon which is occurred. Phenomenon which is occurred is the blue spot, blue point. When I say point, remember it is the center point, which it need not be seen. This is a filled circle and not a point. So I hope that now this logic we imbibe in ourselves, so that when I say point, a point is not seen. What we see is not a point. Point is there at the center of what we see, which we perceive. So the blue point moving on a whiteboard. Blue point moving on a whiteboard. So the observed phenomenon by the teacher and the whole class is the blue point, laser point moves on the whiteboard. So is this a signal? Is this a signal? And if yes, what kind of signal, and in what way it is different from other signals which we have discussed till now, say voltage signal, temperature signal, pressure signal, length signal, like that. So since it is a pre-recorded session, what students should do is students should put a pause, think for a while. If they are able to find the answer, then they should again resume and verify the answer. If they find that it is not possible for them to find the answer, then they should again resume and watch the answer. So you can, those who want to test their ability should put a pause. I repeat the question. The signal, the moving laser tip on the whiteboard is also a real-time signal. In what aspect it is different than temperature signal, voltage signal, pressure signal, so and so forth. You can pause, and when you finish, you can resume. Here, important thing is that the point which will be moving, point on, or whether it moves or not is also not so critical. What is important is it is what kind of name you will give. The name which will you give is a position signal, and there everything is told immediately. So voltage signal, or voltage also not so important, temperature signal. Temperature is one-dimensional variable. A single real number can express temperature. Means, if you are having a vertical scale, you can put one point. This is temperature. This is temperature. The temperature is a single dimensional variable. Now, position is how many dimensional variable? Again, it's the answer is not so simple. Position is also not necessarily a fixed dimensional variable. It depends upon what kind of degrees of freedom are given for position signal. Suppose if you may have some kind of a line is drawn and a tip is given in your hand, and you can move on this, or the laser gun which is given in the student's hand, and the mischief may be played, but student can only move horizontally. The laser gun, if it is permitted only to move horizontally, then, are you listening? The laser gun is permitted to be moved only horizontally. So the blue point will be moving, it will be here, it will be here, it will be here, it can only move on a single horizontal line. In that case, if this is the starting position, it is a zero position, it is origin, then a single real variable, so this is the position. So a single real variable can describe position of a position signal. Whereas if the permission is given to move laser gun in either way, the laser spot, the point will move either way. On two dimensions. So using a single variable you can't describe. There's one more, that I am now observing this on whiteboard. So it's two dimensional. Suppose if the student becomes more wild and he is having a laser tip now, that laser gun is such that in laser gun normally the LED is embedded, so it is not seen, but nowadays there are open laser guns so that the LED is seen from anywhere. We will give a simple example. उदबत्ती असते, उदबत्ती स्टोक, अंधार आहे, in a dark room उदबत्ती आपण लावली, उदबत्तीचं टोक जे आहे ते लाल दिसतं, and then now you are moving that like this, so that tip is moving, the position of the tip of the open laser gun किंवा उदबत्ती, the position of, and the student, what the student have gone wild, so the teacher has lost control of the class and the student is wandering here and there with the open laser gun tip. So the laser gun tip, what is happening? Its position is changing every time. So, but is it changing in two dimensions? No, it is changing in three dimensions. So the position signal, if position is on a line, it is one dimensional signal. It can be plotted with respect to time on a graph paper, because when you plot on a graph paper, time becomes horizontal axis, and the other dimension becomes vertical axis, or the signal becomes vertical axis. But if the tip position is on a plane and that is changing with respect to time, then if you want to plot, it will become a 3D graph, because time would be here and the position you can plot like this. And if the 3D position is to be plotted using with respect to time, you can't plot, because human being can't visualize beyond 3 dimensions. I hope I tried my level best to explain. So what I again repeat, that 3D signal we will not encounter to a large extent, but the 2D signal will be there in many cases, so that the understanding of signal, especially in signals and systems, these two-dimensional signals are of very much significance because of the complex number things which we will encounter soon. So what I repeat is, the signal which we normally use is a position signal PT. A position signal PT is described by this two-dimensional signal PT is described by two one-dimensional signals PXT and PYT. PXT and PYT. So at every time instant, the point is there on a plane, means there would be projection on x-axis, horizontal axis, projection on y-axis. So x projection, x component and y component, or PT with respect to origin. When there in a 2D plane, there is origin. From origin, the point is somewhere. It is at some distance and at some angle. It is at some distance and at some angle. So position we can say PRT and P theta. So a position signal PT is a two-dimensional signal. I again repeat, position signal means this is very important. a laser point moving on a whiteboard. This is the signal. It may move in any manner. It may move in any manner when we are watching it. A laser point moving on a 2D on a whiteboard is nothing but position of a point in a 2D plane. The signal is PT. This PT is a two-dimensional signal. This PT, so position is a two-dimensional variable. It is described by the ordered pair of two one-dimensional variables, x position and y position, or distance and angle. So pxt and pyt, which are pxt and pyt, which are one-dimensional signals. If the point is moving, means its x projection is also moving in some angle, its y position is also moving with x position also moving with some manner, y position also moving with some another manner. So pxt and pyt are one-dimensional conventional signals, just like temperature versus time. And these two signals together, so an ordered pair of two one-dimensional signals leads to one two-dimensional signal. It can be either x position or y position, or it can be distance and angle. So this is what we call as two-dimensional signal. Two-dimensional signal is most important. Now what we do is we decide to learn the two-dimensional signal directly, so that one-dimensional signal is always a special case. When we permit two-dimensional signal, we can say that one-dimensional is two-dimensional signal only, on other dimension there is no change. But if we learn deeply in one-dimensional manner, then it becomes somewhat difficult to expand it to two dimensions at a later stage. And as you will find, because of complex number logic, because of much simplicity which we get in computations, we use complex numbers and we use two-dimensional signals. So I again repeat, in signals and systems, the signal means a two-dimensional signal. We make visualizations, we treat voltage also to be a two-dimensional signal in an hypothetical manner, even though voltage can never be a two-dimensional signal. So using two-dimensional signals and working with it is very much useful. What I say is, you try to listen all the lectures. I am trying to explain, I am trying to build this course in such a manner so as understanding becomes simpler. As I have already stated, I have already given to you the YouTube recordings of Professor Gadre, which is highly classical. So there is no point for me to repeat the classical things. The impediments, the hurdles, the difficulties which students may face in understanding classical things are to be removed by me by explaining it to an appropriately lower level, so that no understanding gaps remain. So today I conveyed very less information in 1 hour, but I never repeated also. So I tried to explain signal in all possible ways today. In next lecture, we will discuss what is system, how signal is applied to the system, and how signal is obtained from the system. I think for today it is more than enough. Let us stop here.